Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston Station, I'm ready for the event.
Houston Station, I am ready for the event.
World Scout Jamboree, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Please call station for a voice check.
Hello, Drew. How do you hear us?
I've got you loud and clear.
We're loud and clear also, Drew. Welcome to the Summit Bechtel Reserve here in West Virginia. There are over 40,000 scouts here from more than 140 different countries. This event promotes peace and mutual understanding, develops our youth with life skills and leadership, and offers them a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. So we've got a whole room full of excited scouts, and we're going to start with our questions.
Hi, my name is Supreet. I'm from India. Here's my question. What is the next major goal we should be chasing? When and how do you think we'll achieve it?
Well, first of all, I wanted to just welcome you all on board the International Space Station. It is my honor to be joining you there at Bechtel Summit Reserve for the World Scout Jamboree. And I believe that the question was about where should we be headed next? What's next? And, you know, the International Space Station is a small part in a big grand plan for us to put humans on Mars in the several decades from now. And our immediate goal here in the next couple of years will be to return humans back to the surface of the moon by 2024. The International Space Station's been in orbit now for 2 decades with humans on board, over 2 decades. And I'm just a part of that, and I was able to join the crew here on the International Space Station just a couple of days ago. I just got here this past weekend, so I'm a new resident and new crew member on board the International Space Station.
Hi, I'm Ollie and I'm from the United Kingdom, and this is my question. Has your understanding of the universe or Earth changed since going into space?
Well, I'd say it has. You know, now that I've spent a couple days up here, I've been able to spend a fair amount of time looking out the window, looking down at the Earth. Even when I was in the capsule in the Soyuz vehicle on my way up here, I was able to look out of the window and get a perspective of just how thin our atmosphere is and how huge our planet seems. But then when you look and see the vastness of space, you see that we are just a small, relatively insignificant part of the entire universe, and that we have this beautiful vantage point on the International Space Station that we like to share with everybody back there on Earth.
Okay, my name is Jacob. I'm coming from Denmark. Where can you go in space, and what are the limitations?
Our limitations, and right now, you know, if you look at what we've accomplished in our space program, we just recently have celebrated, just this past weekend, the landing, the Apollo 11 moon landing 50 years ago. So we've put humans on the surface of the moon, and we've put humans now continuously in low Earth orbit for the last 20 years. And so far, right now, those are our accomplishments in space, and those are significant. But we want to do more. We want to go further. We want to get out there and explore our solar system and universe to an even greater degree. And so there are a number of limitations that are going to present challenges as we head towards Mars, and some of those are medical and physiologic. What can the human body withstand in terms of radiation and spending long periods of time in microgravity? And those are things that we can study here on the International Space Station to help us enable those.
Hi, my name is Nikolai Mohammed. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and my question is, what activities do you do to pass time? And is it true you're going to keep getting scouting magazines while in space?
Well, we do have the opportunities for entertainment up here because, you know, most of us are up here for several months. I'll be up here for close to 8 or 9 months on board the International Space Station. So having things to read and watch and pass the time are important. There are movies we can watch. We can watch television shows. They can be uplinked to us. We can also get magazines. Obviously, we can't get mail, so we don't get them in print. And we can get magazines in electronic format, and so we can still keep up on current events either by watching television or receiving periodicals. And to answer your question, I will be keeping up with scouting news.
Hi, my name is Jasmijn from the Netherlands, and my question is, what do you and NASA hope to achieve from this mission?
Well, there are a number of things that are unique about this period of time while we're on board. We do believe that we will see the first U.S. vehicles launched from the U.S. Return to the International Space Station after a number of years since the space shuttle retired. And that's important because the more different methods that we have for getting astronauts onto the International Space Station, it's better for the program all around. For the last couple of years, we've been launching American and international partners astronauts on Soyuz, the Russian space vehicle, an extremely reliable, great vehicle. But by having U.S. vehicles launch from Florida, again, we'll have other means of getting astronauts to the International Space Station. We also have a lot of spacewalks planned, a lot of repairs and things to do the exterior of the space station, so we have a number of those. And then, of course, we have all kinds of new science coming on board every time we have a visiting vehicle come up, bringing more science experiments, and we have those ongoing right now. Right now, my crewmates around me are all conducting scientific experiments in different modules. And the more science that we do, the more we can start to solve those problems I mentioned that are the challenges that are going to enable us to go further into the universe, past the moon, and on to Mars.
Hi, my name's Alvin, and I'm from Ethiopia. Here's my question. What are some of the research experiments on the International Space Station, and how are they different from research on Earth?
That's a great question. We have lots of different types of scientific experiments going on the International Space Station. They are in the realm of biology and medical science, physical sciences, earth and space sciences. We do technology demonstrations, and we do a lot of educational outreach as well. Some of those require astronaut interaction, and some of them are external payloads or experiments that are instruments that are mounted to the exterior of the space station. But one of the greatest things that the International Space Station allows us to do is to conduct science without that variable of microgravity. Anytime we do an experiment, we want to control all the variables we can, but if we can eliminate gravity as one of them, that allows us to study scientific questions in a purer form by eliminating gravity from as a factor and seeing how the results would be different.
Hello, my name is Lovisa, and I am from Sweden. And my question is, what are some of your daily tasks on the space station?
Well, our day has every moment scheduled out for it. It starts with waking up and doing personal hygiene like you would expect just at home. We have to brush our teeth. We have to clean our bodies, use the bathroom, eat breakfast. Then we get right to our day, performing maintenance tasks, performing our scientific experiments, as I was describing earlier. We have breaks, though, to take lunch. We have eat meals. The day is full. The day is very full. And then at the end of the day, we have opportunity to rest. We can call home, and we can, if we feel like watching a television show, just interacting with our crewmates. It fills the entire day out quite a bit. So it's a busy time.
Hey, I'm Annabelle from Australia, and do you think scouting will give us an advantage in becoming some of the next people to make history in space?
Well, I think the scouting movement all over the world is important because it teaches you what I believe is one of the most valuable things you can take in life, which is a sense of service to something bigger than yourselves, and making you a better citizen of the planet. And that is a principle of scouting around the world, which is why it's so important that you all are gathered there to celebrate this common bond that you have.
Hi, I'm Megan from South Africa, and my question is, can you tell us how you went from being an army doctor to an astronaut?
Well, I would say that, again, I referenced service just a moment ago, and service to my service started out as service to my country in the military and service to my patients as a physician, specifically a physician to the members of the armed forces. And I view my time as an astronaut as a continuation of that service. And so in many ways, and that is the most direct way that I make that connection. But, you know, it is the medical background is a highly useful skill as an astronaut. A number of the experiments that we conduct on board the International Space Station are medical or biological in nature, and I will be able to apply that background quite a bit. And, of course, it's nice in the event of a medical emergency if one of the astronauts has some medical skills, but we have more than enough capability up here that we don't require a doctor at all times.
Hello, I'm Gabriel from Brazil, and my question is, as an assistant scoutmaster, are you still planning to join troop meetings from space?
So I should add that my service in scouting has been primarily as an adult leader, as an assistant scoutmaster. I was a Cub Scout as a young child, but I never progressed all the way to as a Boy Scout. And now I've spent a number of years as an assistant scoutmaster. My oldest of my 4 children, my son, is an Eagle Scout, recently pinned just before I left to come to my launch a couple of weeks ago, and he remains involved in scouting. And then one of my 3 daughters is also getting ready to join scouting, and we're going to work through that when I get back from my mission, because I want to get her involved too, because it's been such a positive experience so far for my son, and I would like all my daughters to have that opportunity as well. And I do plan on staying connected with my scout troop back home, Troop 452 in Friendswood, Texas.
Hello, my name is Monica, and I'm from Slovakia. And my question is, we all know astronauts spend tons of time training, but has anything happened that you weren't prepared for? If so, how did you handle it?
Well, I think I would start by answering that question by saying the training that we receive is so excellent, and thus far in my mission, I feel like I've been fully trained for everything that I have encountered. However, we are also trained to be very flexible and be able to be good problem solvers, so that when something does arise that we don't expect, and inevitably in my time on board the International Space Station, there will be things that we didn't expect to occur, but we know how to improvise, we know how to work well as a team, and we know how to solve problems, complex problems, and we have an enormous team on the ground to help us, so we always have somebody that we can call and ask for help.
Hello, my name is Eve. I'm from Finland, and here's my question. Is there Wi-Fi in space? How do you communicate with your family and friends?
I didn't hear the entire question, but I think what you were asking was how I'll stay connected with family and friends on the ground, and that's a very important part of the psychological health of an astronaut while we're on board the International Space Station for such a long time. And, you know, believe it or not, it's a lot of the things that you would use to stay connected if you were on a long trip for a long period of time. We have email capability. I have the ability to use a special phone to call. Bounces off of satellites, of course, but I'm able to call home. We even have access to the internet, so there are certain things that are available where we could connect to social media. And then on every couple of weeks or so, we can have a video teleconference with our families as well. So it helps to be able to see their faces and just stay connected that way. But staying connected with your family is really important for our time, considering how long it is and life goes on. I will be gone for almost an entire school year for my children's upcoming school year, and I want to stay involved, and having all these different ways to do that will help me stay connected with them.
Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm from Aruba. What's the coolest thing you've seen in space?
I didn't hear your question entirely. If you wouldn't mind asking that one more time.
What's the coolest thing you've seen in space?
Drew, what is the coolest thing that you have seen in space?
Copy. The coolest thing I've seen in space. Well, I don't know. I feel like I should show you guys a couple cool things. The first time I saw my friends on their side and doing backflips, I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm hoping that you guys do too.
Hello, my name is Jack. I'm from the United States, and my question is, what kind of dangers can happen during a spacewalk, and how do you deal with something like that?
Dangers during spacewalks. Yeah, spacewalks are dangerous. They're inherently very dangerous because we're basically going out in a small spaceship outside of the International Space Station in a small pressurized suit. And certainly, there are a lot of components on that can fail. And but you know, we use some very hardy equipment, but we need the capability to provide oxygen and pressurization to the suit at all times, scrub carbon dioxide, and if any of those elements were to fail, that would be a problem. But just sort of like I alluded to before, we have a big team on the ground that's getting information about the suit constantly, and we're able to communicate with them, and we have checklists that we work through, and so if we see a failure, the suit gives us an alarm, and we work through the checklist, and the ground helps us work through it, and we get safely back inside the airlock if it requires us to.
Hi, my name is Johanka and I'm from the Czech Republic. Is the water you drink recycled or does it come from water supplies?
A good question. We do both. We try to recover water. We condense the moisture in the air. We actually even recycle our urine and wastewater that is collected, and we turn it back into drinking water. But we also, when we have vehicles come up, we do have water supply brought to us as well, because we're not able to reclaim it all 100%, but much of it we are. So we get it by both methods.
So Drew, this is Greg here. We'd like to thank you and NASA for helping us to expand the reach of this global event here at the World Scout Jamboree by connecting the ISS to these youth on our planet. So thank you so much.
And Greg, thank you. It's been my pleasure. I just wanted to show off our flag here that was sent up. My honor to do so.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from World Scout Jamboree. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.